Hey, today we're talking about ratios and rates with a little bit of rounding in there too so that we can do approximate ratios. Most of this is review. You know what a ratio looks like. Maybe it'd be harder to define what this is. It looks like a fraction, right? It's a comparison of two numbers, and we show division like we do in a fraction. So it's more than a fraction. It's a fraction with a lot of meaning. It's not so much thinking of 3/4 of a piece of pie as it is I have 3 apples to 4 pies. You know, you got meaning connected to each one that we're measuring two different things. Sometimes down here it's a total. We're not working with a lot of that today. We're mostly focusing on showing two amounts and then reducing, especially in the correct order. Because if I say 12 girls and 16 boys, express ratio of girls to boys, girls then has to come first because it was said before the 2, and then the boys comes underneath second. Notice they reduce 12 over 16 just like they would a fraction by the common factor of 4, right? 12 and 16 each got divided by 4 to get a reduced final number ratio of 3/4. We read, though, as 3 to 4 because we understand this was a ratio where we're counting two amounts. You can also show it as 3 to 4, 3 over 4, as a decimal, or with a colon, my personal favorite, 3 to 4. Because it doesn't look like any other time, so we really can tell that, that's a ratio. Okay? So a word problem for that, maybe we could look at example 2. Example 1's pretty elementary. A 30-foot tall tree casts a shadow 18 feet long. What was the ratio of the height of the tree to the length of its shadow? What's the order? Height to length. Height to length. So 30 to length. 5 over 3, we don't show a label because the feet cancel out. If the labels match, it looks like we don't have to write anything here. But we did reduce by what common factor is 30 and 18 both divided by? We both got divided by 6. That's the GCF. Would you get it wrong if you just divided by 2 3 times? No. It's just a little extra work. Not as impressive. In some situations, we round to express a ratio. Like if we said we had a day of stock market trading, let's say 789 stocks gained value and 597 lost value. What's the ratio of gaining value and losing value? Advancers to decliners. Estimated 789 to 597. That's what we've been doing. Cross out stocks. But let's make that approximate. What would be an appropriate place value to round to? We're pretty close to 800. We're pretty close to 500. I don't think we lose a lot of meaning when we just say 800 to 600. Generally, if you have a doubt, it makes a lot of sense to round to the biggest place value. But in this case, where we've got number of fans in the crowd, we've got 1,217 to 897. This looks like another one where we round to the 100. But I think we lose a lot of meaning if we change this to 10 to 1,000 because 2 is closer to 1,000 than 2,000. I think we keep that 2. We round to 1,200. I also like how they both have 2 zeros in the answer. So they've both been kind of rounded to the 100. Then we reduce 1,200 over 900, which is like reducing 12 over 9 because we can cross out the zeros. Divide both of those by 3 and you get 4 to 3 as a ratio. No need to show a label because they match. They're both fans of the game. Rate is its own term. A rate is a ratio, special kind, with different units. In example 4, we're doing rates. Rosa kept a record of number of pages and number of minutes each night for like a week. She's got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday here. Find her approximate, so we're going to estimate this, reading rate for the book in pages per minute. pages per minute. So if I were you, I would write down pages over minutes right away. And we're not going to we're not going to cancel out that. We are going to have both of those in our answers label because these do not match. It's a rate, and we do not cancel in rates because it's different measures. So if we're asked for pages in minutes, the units are pages in minutes. Find Rosa's reading rate. We have some choices. We can find the rate for each day to see if the rate is consistent, or we can find the total number of pages in minutes and calculate an average rate. So here's a table where you could do either one. And you see that each ratio is equal or very close to 1 page every 2 minutes. So they do an approximation here. You know, they had 15 pages, 30 minutes. So that day, it's a perfect 1/2 reduced rate. 11/20, 7/15, 1/2 again. So we got the perfect 1/2 twice. 11's pretty close to half of 20. 7's pretty close to half of 15, 27 close to 25. Sure, I read a lot in the full days, So this is its own box. This is where they add them all up and put it over total number of pages. And they find 87 over 170. That's approximately 1/2. Or you could have just looked at all of this and said, you know what, we're pretty close to a 1-to-2 ratio here. Either that way, you could show it like that, or even like that. And don't forget your label. You can actually write, instead of pages over minutes like this, you can write it all on one line. Page per minute. 1 page, 1/2 page per minute. A page for every 2 minutes is another way to read that. They both are worth the same. If we needed to find that in minutes per page, you just got to flip that around and maybe just double check that the math checks out. But use that table, find rate where you've got minutes on top, pages on the bottom, or minutes to the left and pages to the right. Okay? So do F, let's do E, and D. Thank you.